Welcome back, guys. We are here with another trade review video for you. I hope you've had a good week so far. Right now we're going to look at a couple trades that I took on Apple and on QS. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a comment down below just in case there's a stock you would like me to look at in a future video. Alright, let's jump over to the charts. Hey guys, we're going to check out a few trades that I took before we go to the reversal, since it was the first trade and the largest trade of the day. These are two trades that I took based on strategies that I knew, and I also got stopped out on both of them. So my stop loss was really short and I ended up giving back only a small amount of money. So let's jump into those real quick. Okay, so here we are on Apple. I want to go ahead and show you my entry point here. We are on the 5-minute and the 1-minute charts. This is going to be my attempt at a short on Apple this morning. As you can see here, this is the 1 minute. It pulled back from the VWAP and then went back up before testing VWAP and then moving higher. As it came back down from the 200 and around the R3, we were looking for it to break through the VWAP and then continue on down, hoping that it would go back down to this level. Unfortunately, this was my entry right below. I took it right around this level. This is where that candle opened, which was right here at the bottom of this candle. It was exactly where this one opened and this one closed. It was a little bit lower than the VWAP, but I was trying to take into account the volume that was coming in and also the price action. It did move just a little bit lower than my entry, but what happened was it just wasn't ready to continue moving on down yet. So unfortunately, this stock did go up. I did stop out, but as you can see, I had an easy level for my stop out, which was right at the VWAP as soon as it crossed R2. So I went ahead and I took one of my normal stop losses here, which was around, let's see here, 143.6, and then I got out right around 143.7. I think my total loss on this trade was like $12 or something like that. I had a really tight stop loss. Again, what I was really hoping for was continuation down here. I was sort of hoping it would go up, touch VWAP, and then continue back down, but unfortunately it did not. It wanted to continue through VWAP. So that was my first trade on Apple, but that was my second trade of the day. I'll go ahead and jump over to my third trade, and then we'll get back to my first trade. Guys, here's my last trade of the day, which was on Lucid LCID. It's pretty obvious what the setup was, so you guys can look at it right out the gate and tell exactly what I was looking for. This was my short entry right here on this candle. It came in on this red candle right here. We were looking for a failure to keep the high of day, and as you can see, it actually did keep that failure. But the reason that I stopped out when I did, actually stopped out at break even, was we were sitting right at the $26 level, and my entry was, I think, like $25.98 or something like that. So I took it off that level, and also a short at R4. I wanted to see it give back, bounce off of $26 level and move back lower. It did eventually do that. As you can see over here on the 5-minute chart, I will make my pen a little bit larger. You can see that it ran up and it did kiss off that level and then pull back to the VWAP before moving on up. I had a really short stop loss on this one as well. The reason being was because, again, I already had my profits locked up for the day. I didn't want to do anything stupid and see a bunch of shorts cover at 26 and then this thing just go to the moon and stop out before, I could smash the button. So I had my stop loss, as you can see, this was right at break even. It did move down. Now, I did take profits on this trade. This was not like a completely wrong direction trade. It did bounce off of the 26 level, but it just didn't have the momentum that I wanted. I wanted this candle to happen right here. Unfortunately, it took it another candle to happen, or honestly, this would have been a really productive trade, and that one would have moved down. I could have let it ride for 50-cent gain. But you can't win them all, and I was able to take a little bit of profits and then stop out. As you can see, it filled a little bit above my entry. So
it kind of equaled itself out. I didn't really make any profits on this trade. It was a trade that I really enjoy trading. As you can see over here on the 5-minute chart, it was at the top of this 5-minute candle before this push back down. So I wasn't too disappointed in that one. Very small stop loss, very small loss altogether. I mean, we had a lot of confirmation levels like the R4 and the $26 quantity mark was incredibly large when $26 come up. I saw some asks that they were in like the 26,000 range. So there was a really huge ceiling at 26. So that was another thing. I was kind of using it as the bounce off, but I didn't want to see those shares get bought up and they rip higher. So this definitely was a time where a large order on the ask became a ceiling instead of a bull catalyst. So let's go ahead and jump over to the reversal that I traded and I really wanted to show you guys. Hey guys, we are here over at QS. This was my first trade of the day. I was actually setting up this trade for an open range breakout because I wanted to continue trading that, and QS had a lot of volume and momentum this morning. So when it first opened, this was our first candle and we were looking for this pop over. This would have been the entry for that. The reason I didn't take the 1-minute breakout range was just because of the volume. The volume wasn't really all there, and as you can see right next to my picture down here, this volume candle was super small. I didn't feel like it had the momentum to just rip this thing higher. The other reason is because it was in the $23 range. So it's not like it was a $10 stock that was going to rip up to $14, $15 and just give me all my profits. So that's why I really kind of hesitated to jump on that. I said, okay, let me hold off on that. We had a lot of hesitation in this entire candle. It didn't really do a lot. Now the second, or I should say the third candle, what we had was even more indecision. Look at the amount of volume that came in on this third candle. There was absolutely no volume on this candle. For a stock that had this much momentum pre-market, and I want to look, this was the gap up this morning. I don't know if anyone was watching this pre-market, but we had a rip up from under $20 to $23 and then a pullback right before the bell opened. So this thing had a lot of momentum and it didn't really have a lot of going up and down. It was all at once and then it gave back. Once I saw it didn't have the continuous volume that I wanted for this opening range breakout, what I did is I went ahead and took a reversal. I saw that this couldn't get up to the top of this candle, and I went ahead and took a short right here. This guy bounced back and forth, and our entry was right around 23, right underneath 23 and a half. So what that means is we have an automatic stop loss. In case volume did come pouring back into that stock, I automatically knew where I was going to stop out, and that was going to be right around 23.65. If it would have gapped up and just ripped like this right here, this candle would have been green this way. It would have been an auto stop just like that. Once I saw it get up here, we're done with this stock. Thankfully, the complete opposite happened, and this stock completely dumped right here. And I mean, this happened so fast I could barely keep up with it. Everybody was expecting the move north, and when it didn't happen, everybody took their profits and ran. Now eventually, as you can see where we're at right here, we are back up here over $24. So it took a little bit of time for the bulls to come back in, but this initial move just scared everybody and everybody jumped out. And I was in the position to take advantage of those folks when they jumped out. I took a huge position here once it dumped because this was, see, right around 22. This was right after it lost 23, right about 22.9, and I had got in at right around 22.5. So that was an automatic 55, 60 cent winner right off the top of my day. And so that was a huge winner there. Now, one thing I did do, which I normally don't do, was I added back to this position half of this. So I took half and then I added back. The reason I did that is because the volume and the action just continued to lower. But the other reason is because when I averaged back in, my stop loss was back right around here. And as you can see, my final profit take was right below the VWAP. So my break even moved from 23.55 down to 23.11, which was right around the VWAP level, which basically gave me, I still had room to let the stock run. I didn't immediately have to sell everything. Just, once it moved up, even after averaging in, I still let it run around because my average was so freaking high from this entry up here. So I just started taking partials here. I took a partial here and I took a partial here. This stock continued to move higher, and at that time, once I took this last one, I went ahead and moved my stop loss down to the VWAP. That was all I needed. This initial move was honestly one of the biggest moves that I've had in a really long time before I took any partial. I didn't even get a chance to hit the partial key at VWAP or anything. This thing just bucketed out. I mean, this is one of those that it just caught me by surprise. And when I saw that red candle come in, good entry on the reversal, good setup, and I had a good reasoning, but I in no way, shape, or form expected all this to happen at once. In the back of my mind, I thought, well, maybe we'll lose down to VWAP, it'll bounce, and then it may move lower in a couple candles. Maybe a 5-minute candle, it'll move lower. But never was I expecting it to move to that level in 2 minutes. So, that was one of those one and done days. I was able to hit my profit target in that one trade. I didn't want to stop trading. That's why I went to the other two trades, because where I'm at now in the boot camp, we're actually practicing, and I'm trying to practice different strategies throughout the day. So even even if I'm up money or if I'm down money, I'm still trying out different trades to see how they work and if I want to continue trading them. This is definitely one that I normally trade the reversal when there's a lack of momentum. Normally it isn't this early in the day, because this is definitely a lot of volatility period of time for sure. But for some reason, when this stock opened, the volatility just wasn't there. Normally you're going to see candles like this in the first minute or the second minute. Normally it doesn't wait until the fourth minute till you have something like that. So, we had a reversal and a VWAP crossing on the 933 and the 934 candle, so it worked out well. I want to keep this one. I'm not going to complain, and say it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. I would have liked to have practiced the 1 minute breakout, but I was able to kind of switch it up and say, okay, this really isn't ready for a 1 minute breakup, and go ahead and see where I can move on from there. So I'll keep this one in the back of my mind for future trades and see what happens. All right, guys, I really appreciate you coming by. Thank you, and I appreciate you for watching the videos. As always, if you enjoy the content, feel free to leave me a comment down below. Let me know if there's any other stocks that you're watching that you would like me to review and do some analysis on. All right, take care, you guys.